I think everybody in this group probably knows by now that I am only licensed in Pennsylvania. So when it comes to like actual legal advice, if you hear me referring to laws or stuff like that, it's going to be all based on Pennsylvania law. But I'll always try to clarify that. Like if I'm asked a question, I'll be like, well, here's how they do it in Pennsylvania, and most likely that's probably because a lot of the laws are the same, like procedures are different, and in some states it's different. But when it comes to family law, in particular custody, the best interest of the child trumps everything so much that it trumps everything so much that really the laws are kind of similar, but still, I'm only licensed in Pennsylvania. I have to make that completely clear right now. So I'm not like, obviously I can't ever represent any of you unless you're in Westmoreland County. But that's not why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it to try to recruit clients or anything like that. I've said too, I'm also a judge, just to set the record straight. I'm a minor court judge, so magisterial district judge. So I can still practice law, which I still do, but it has to be areas of the law that don't conflict with magisterial. And luckily, when I started practicing law back in, it was almost 20 years ago, the firm that I started for did the most family law in southwestern Pennsylvania. They happened to be in my hometown. So I got recruited by them. I went and worked there. It was funny because family law was the one area of the law that I said that I would never do. And then I end up getting picked up by the firm in my hometown. And they did the most family law in southwestern Pennsylvania. So anyway, I've been doing it for that long. And then I took, like, when I first ran for this position that I have, I'm in my third year right now. And then I got elected. I took a brief hiatus. And right before that, I started really getting involved in criminal defense work too. So I did a lot of criminal defense work, and I got really, really good at that, like right off the bat, because I really enjoy being in court and being in trial. That's like my biggest strong suit in the attorney world. But what happened was, once I got elected, I couldn't do criminal anymore, so it had to be straight family law. But the interesting thing was, and a lot of you guys that are going through a custody dispute, you've probably experienced something like this before. When I was in criminal court, everything is like, the rules are so strict. Like you can't just have like conferences like in the judge's chambers. Like it's just so much stricter. Like they're on a set schedule. Like the rules of evidence are like crazy strict. Like everything is by the book. And then when you flip it back over to the family law, it is like completely different. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was representing I always did family law. It's just during that period of time, my practice shifted more towards criminal. And I was doing a lot of criminal law, and it's so strict. Like if your client doesn't show up, like your client's going to freaking jail. And so I was always like regimen in that criminal court arena. And then like at one point, then after I had been doing that for a few years, I ended up going back into family court, and I showed up for a custody hearing, and the other party just didn't show. The attorney and the other party just didn't show up. And I was like, well, what the hell? Like, what the hell is this shit? Like they didn't even show up. And the judge was just like, oh, well, yeah, they just had a mix up in their calendar, so we're just going to reschedule it. And I was like, what? Like, you got to be shitting me. Like, literally the differences between criminal court and family court are so crazy. Like, criminal court is like legit, like now family court's legit too, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to rules, like the rules are the rules and that's it in criminal court. In family court, there's always like a little bend, but the good thing is you all can use that to your advantage too. And like I said,